If you like a helmet just like this, go over to greengrind.com and shop some of your favorite mini and life-size replica helmets. They have, you can add, of course, the visor, the chin strap, different helmet types as well. On the website, they have NCAA teams. They have all the NFL teams. You can go in there and shop some of your favorite sports football teams and get a helmet replica just like this. So go over there, use my promo code PITSYN at checkout as well, PITSYN, and get yourself a discount at checkout. So go over there and shop now. Hello my viewers, welcome back to the channel. By the video title, you know what this video is about. Today we'll be discussing George Pickens. Yesterday I went on live stream doing a Q&A for you guys. I'm trying to go live at least once a week, every time now too. I have everything situated with the live stuff. And also I'm going to try to go live at least once a week with you guys. But one of the questions I did get about George Pickens, George Pickens maybe like bring him back and say the Steelers kept him, or the Steelers maybe get rid of him like that. And did I say somebody else posted that as well about George Pickens? So I think GP is a guy, of course, he was Derpy. I think Derpy Entertainment. He'd be on supporting the channel like that, on the Arsenal D.B channel, Steelers Australia channel, Steelers Dynasty podcast. I see him everywhere like that. He's doing a good job supporting and stuff. Big time Steeler fan. But yeah, I think GP, we probably keep him, most likely, of course, to extend him. I think GP is a guy who you got to keep around. He's very talented. Of course, he has the antics and the things that happen, of course, to get control. But I think he just needs some guidance. And I think the best guidance to give him will be to get him somebody in his receiving room to be a veteran. He cannot be the leader. He cannot be the veteran of the receiver room. The young receiver room needs somebody else. I think Chris Godwin will be a perfect person to bring in. Former All-Pro, former Pro Bowler, Super Bowl champion, played with the greats like that, with Mike Evans, playing with Tom Brady, been around greatness, can be a leader as well. So I feel like adding him to your locker room will help out a lot. And maybe Darius Slayton as well. I think you can add both probably. I would add both if I could. Darius Slayton and Chris Godwin. Go out there and do that. Replace Van Jefferson and Mike Evans with Chris Godwin and Darius Slayton. Imagine that. Godwin, George Pickens, Darius Slayton, and then Roman Wilson. We'll see what he look like. But you can also draft a guy, and then Kevin Austin is cool and stuff as well, and you see what happens, of course. But I think most likely the Steelers probably sign one, probably bring in the guy, and then draft the guy. Probably bring in Chris Godwin, have GP extend his contract, and then bring in a guy like I don't know, somebody, Luther Burden or Emeka Ibuka, or one of those guys like that, one of those dynamic players. Of course, bring one of those guys in. I think you have a good player from him like that, learn behind Chris Godwin and stuff like that, and being the third option, you open up so much more for your playmakers. But I did see, of course, a scenario, I thought about a scenario because people kept bringing it up. Because I seen on Twitter, remember George Pickens debunked the tweet. He was like, he said, I'm getting traded. He said, I know you got your information from. He said, but that's not anything I heard of like that, anything about that. So George Pickens, and people keep suggesting the trade that GP get traded to the Commanders for a second-round pick, or somewhere for a second-round pick. And I think, of course, you probably could get a second-round pick for him, maybe at first, because Kenny Pickett did get a third-round pick, which is surprisingly, but maybe at first. But then again, I thought about the team would have to pay him, of course, because he had 1 year left, which is this year that's coming up. And after that, he's gonna be a free agent, so they have to pay him too. So they probably wouldn't trade him. They probably wouldn't trade a first rounder for him, so they had to pay him. But second round is definitely doable. I think you bring him in, and the Steelers was to do that. If they was to trade him and use that and get a second pick for George Pickens, I think it'd probably be best for you can use the same second pick to make a trade for another receiver to bring in another guy in, or use that pick to draft some guys. Most likely they did go that approach, but I think they probably would not. But they did go that approach. It'd be interesting to see what they traded for. We heard the rumors about Devontae Adams. We heard the rumors about Gary Wilson as well like that. We heard the rumors about DK Metcalf. I wouldn't like DK Metcalf there, because DK Metcalf got it's a lot. DK Metcalf, he's worse head case than George Pickens. He got talent, of course, being at 6'4", 6'5", running a 4.3. He got all the intangibles. He's a good receiver, but he's not elite receiver. He's a good receiver, but not elite. He has the intangibles to be elite, but he gets in his own head that keeps him from getting to that standpoint of being elite. And this, on DK Metcalf since 2019 has 25 personal penalties, and over 284 penalty yards in 2019. He also has 10 OPIs, 10 holdings, 2 face masks, 2 unnecessary roughness, 1 illegal shifts, 4 unsportsmanlike conducts, 2 disqualifications, 3 tauntings, 1 blindside block, and 1 false start. He had a lot of penalties. He's one of the most flagged receivers. George Pickens is up there as well too with some of the personal foul penalties. But DK Metcalf is one of the most flagged receivers. Heard his Seahawks team a lot. Look at all the Seahawks fans, they talk about it. He's very talented, but he's not elite because he keeps getting his own head and messing himself up from being that point. And last year was not a big time year for him either. You know, he's able to get 1,000 yards, of course, but he's still not able to like get that threshold of hitting up 15, 16, 17, 1,800 yards like a Justin Jefferson or Jamar Chase, because he getting in his own head. So DK Metcalf will be a nice piece, of course, but we can't afford to have that type of like, you know, stuff in the locker room. Like that'll make it worse. Imagine GP and DK both in the locker room together. No. So I would prefer us to go in a different approach. I like receivers that comes from the same path of the Larry Fitzgerald types and the Steve Largent types, you know, the Jerry Rice types, the Hines Ward's type, the guys who are, you know, team first guys. They still have, of course, personalities and still have stuff, but they know how to play in the confines of the game and not hurt their team. So I think it would be cool to add, of course, a guy like Garrett Wilson. I think he's a nice player. The Steelers was to go that approach and say, let's trade away GP and bring somebody else in like that. Now we trade away GP, of course, DK Metcalf, GP won't be there, so DK Metcalf getting there will be by himself. But I still don't want that to happen. So if you did trade away GP, use that second pick, maybe to trade away, get Garrett Wilson, somebody, just bring somebody else in, and then you draft a guy higher up as well, and then you see what happens. And maybe you sign a guy too, maybe sign a Darius Slayton or something like that. You bring a guy in, or you can get Chris Godwin still. That'd be great too. That'd be cool, nice little duo of receivers. But I doubt the Steelers trade GP. I think the best bet is to get Chris Godwin, extend GP, draft a receiver high up. I would love for us to get Chris Godwin and Darius Slayton and go with that approach. And you can maybe draft a guy later rounds if you want to, but most likely they probably sign Chris Godwin. You extend GP, you draft a receiver high up, and then you take a corner probably the next pick, and then you know you add some more depth at offensive tackle and stuff, and go on from there. Running back, you'll see what happens with that too. But GP probably stand with the Steelers. I think the Steelers will stand him maybe a 4-year, 90 million, 100 million or something. They'll probably think of something to do, or they pay him maybe like 20 million a year or something, right at range. Nothing too crazy, nothing too light either. Kind of like both parties kind of agree. And I think it'd be a nice thing to have around for a little while too, especially if you got a veteran presence to help him out too. So that's all I have for today's video. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, like and subscribe for more content. I'll see you guys next time on the channel. Peace out.